Cotter as well.
Hello, Hazell. Thank you very much. And the lull before the storm. All the gladiators waiting.
Can the marshals
Here we
now
go.
please hold the traffic crossing and spectators crossing as well? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the continuation of the final of the HSBC World Matchplay Championship between Ángel Cabrera of Argentina and Ernie Els of South Africa. The state of the match is Ernie Els is 3 up, and he has the honour. On the tee, please, Ernie Els.
3 up, that's a nice cushion, but it can soon disappear with a few wayward shots. Ernie trying to play to the top of the hill, doesn't want to tipple over the edge and end up really on the downslope. Neither does he want to put it into Bruce Forsyth's garden. Paul Eales will be following this match.
Come on, Ernie, 3 up. Let's get this one down the middle and show the US Open champion the way home.
So rather partisan, old chap. And that's a fiery one down the right. It could be going just too far. Yeah, not bad.
On the tee, Ángel Cabrera.
And Maureen Medill is supporting Ángel.
Going left.
Going left towards the first tee on the east. Spectators up the left-hand side. Clatters into them, misses everybody. And that is not the sort of
referee for this
opening
match
drive you
is
want.
John Paramore, and the match marshal is Barry Drew.
Maureen
And
Medill
ladies and gentlemen,
is
may I
getting
please
ready
remind you about
for some
mobile
fireworks
phones and
today.
cameras.
Maureen?
Please
Well, I was talking to Eddie Gordino, Ángel Cabrera's caddy, before we started this afternoon, and he said that his man normally has 10 birdies a day here. So he's had a great touch of good fortune here, just in the left-hand semi, bounced out from the galleries. So with a fresh shirt in his back, Cabrera is ready for the challenge, and I think that Els might just crumble under the overcoaching from Mr. Paul Eales.
Oh, well now, that's a bit fiery.
Well, the US Open champion was so lucky there, Pete. What a horrible smothered swing off the first tee after a nice heavy lunch, but he's got away with it. But Ernie's in super shape down this right-hand side.
Well, there's the majestic clubhouse. It's been there for, oh, not 100 years yet, but remodeled a few years ago. Beautifully done. There aren't many facilities like that in the world of golf.
This is the first hole. Players just hitting a 3-wood now, trying to get it up to the top of the hill there, avoiding both bunkers. Good, strong, tough par 4. 3-wood to there, and then probably 3 or 4 iron into the green. Pin today is on the front left, so quite an accessible pin. Green slopes right to left. A tough opening hole.
Well, I suppose experience is going to play its part this afternoon, Ken, because when you think about it, Ernie Els, this is his 8th final in this event. It's Ángel's first. What are the nerves likely to be doing for Ángel, particularly after an opening tee shot like that?
Well, I think having won the US Open, you know in your inner self that you're a player that can stand up to the greatest pressure. So he'll be a little bit nervous, a bit anxious, because Ernie is such a wonderful match player. He knows up a great player who knows the course. They played together this year in the President's Cup, so I think they're pretty good buddies, really. I don't think there's any sort of head-to-head anger amongst themselves, but you're bound to be feeling a little nervous. $1 million to the winner. They're playing for £600,000. Who wouldn't be a little bit nervous, jangly?
And let's be honest, I think it was Ernie who missed a tiddler at the last to lose to Toms and Furyk. I don't know whether Ángel's actually forgiven him for that one, Ken.
No, and so there's a friendship, but there's also the little edge here, this big money. And it's so important for Cabrera this afternoon to get off to something of a start. We saw Ernie yesterday in the afternoon hole, a nice putt on the first, bit of confidence, off you go. And that's the sort of thing that can change. He's had a bit of luck over there on the left-hand side. So a good break from him, because he's got to get tangled up with the trees. He's got a clear shot in. So not a bad spot.
Speaking of trees, Ken, there's a couple of new additions on here, one just immediately to our left. I think Sam Torrance knows a bit about that.
Now this is the tree that was donated by HSBC. And there's another tree, that's it there, donated today for the Great Championship. And on the other side of the fairway, there's another tree, and it's the sister of this tree. And it was the Millennium tree. Very nice, beautiful colouring already. And that will be there for a long time to come as we go back to Cabrera, just out on the left side here.
200 yards for Cabrera. Clear view, 5-iron.
Little heavy, I think. Well, mucho. I think Spanish isn't great, but I think that means go hard. A little opening for Ernie already.
Thank you. Stand, please.
So Ernie just lining up for his. What's he got in front of him here, Ken?
A little unlucky. I'm sure Paul will fill us in. He's just trickled through the end of the fairway. He's driven it a little bit further down the right and gone on a little downslope, but not a bad angle, depends on the lie. What's it looking like, Paul?
Well, it's a tough hanging lie here, Ken. 178 yards to go, 6-iron. Normally let the ball drift from left to right on this sort of a lie.
Well, fine opening iron from Alliss.
Nice one from Ernie. When we get to the greens, what was noticeable earlier in the week, Ken, was how Angel was gifting gimme putts quite early on, didn't he? And it's a trick used in match play quite a bit. In this final situation, he can't really afford to be doing that sort of thing, can he?
Certainly not at this stage. He's going to make Ernie putt. I mean, these greens are so pure and true that no one's really going to miss a 2-footer unless you're very unfortunate. So they have been giving some fairly generous length putts all week. Most of the players have, first of all, because the greens are so nice. But that's not going to happen at this stage here. They're going to make people, they're going to have to hole out here and make sure that nothing's given, because Angel needs to get, stuck into Ernie fairly early on here, because otherwise Ernie will steamroll him away.
Well, Kenny, I'm going to allow you to crack on, and I'll make my way back to the studio, but it's been nice even to daunder down the first fairway.
It's a delight. Perfect golfing conditions.
Absolutely.
Perfectly are indeed. As they move away, Cabrera comes up to view this little chip from the front of the green, which really is simple enough, but there is 3 or 4 feet of borrow from the right, and it can slide away. You get this within 3 or 4 feet, you've done very well. To get it within 6 feet, you haven't done too badly. But with Alliss nicely positioned some 20 feet past the flag, Cabrera certainly has to give this his full attention. He doesn't want to go 4 down early in the piece. Before we get into this, it is a very sort of special day today for those of you with long memories. A great man died today. 30 years ago. It was Bing Crosby at the Moraleca Club in Madrid, playing with Manuel Pinheiro. Finished 18 holes, walking up to the clubhouse. Down he went, and that was the end of Bing Crosby. A great lover of golf. 30 years today.
Right down the middle. That was his famous one, Peter, about golfing one.
Yeah, they played Heaven, I'm in Heaven, when they heard the news.
No.
Doesn't waste much time, does he? And that's another pretty well judged shot, but still I feel that won't be conceded. Both these players, big, powerful men. They have a delicate touch around the greens, very skillful.
Well, after 2 stunning shots there from Ernie Alliss, he's got a left to righter here. A little bit down the slope as well. this to go 4 up. Must admit that the US Open champion was a little fortunate there. Big pull with the tee shot, and he bounced over the edge of the bunker, and I really don't know what's going on here, Mo, with your man.
Well, do you want to... I mean, he's not going to go in, is he, Paul? He's out here and he's in for the real thing. Ernie might just slide this one past, and, you know, we'll get a hole back in the next couple and a whole new ball game.
A putt to win the hole, but it's a tricky one. It's very fast round the hole here, just on the crest of a slope, this pin. But if anyone knows where it is, Ernie's the man. The local Bobby's out keeping an eye on it. There's a great angle. You see how far left he's aiming here. It's 3 feet of swing. He still missed it right. That will be conceded. And Henkel, 4.5 feet up the hill for the half.
On the right, thank you.
This is a nerve settler. If he can roll this in confidently, it settles you down. But it's one of those you don't really relish on the first green. A little bit of swing, Maureen.
Indeed there is. It needs a lot of focus and attention. This just gets your attention after lunch very quickly. Firm, inside right.
Straight in. Well done. Half in 4.
Hole half in 4. Elf remains 3 up.
Voice of John Parrymore, the great officials of the PGA European Tour. Been here for many years now. The most senior referee, goes all around the world officiating at various great competitions. And off they go, just a short walk, 20 or 30 yards to the second.
Now here, this delightful par 3, the second, just 154 yards. Pin today is 14 on 5 from the right. The tree on the right used to encroach in a bit more, but they've chopped off some of the branches. Doesn't quite come into play now, but definitely a birdie chance here. Ernie has the honour, and just a nice 8 iron straight at the pin.
Well, often in the past, stood on this second tee with a swirling breeze and the pin on the back right, which is only about 12 yards deep there, not much to aim at. So club selection, Maureen and Paul, a little bit easier today with no breeze.
Nothing really here breeze-wise to contend with. Looks like your man might have an 8 iron here, Paul. Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, there's plenty of club for Ernie here. 150 yards to the flag. Beautiful afternoon. Just a smooth. Just watch this, how smooth this is, Maureen. Finish about 4 feet away.
That's a fine shot. Bold.
I noticed this morning that Cabrera is one of the few players who watches his opposition play. I mean, he really looks at Ernie and he's enjoying the golf as a golf fan almost. 9 iron here for the Argentine. Really has to get a couple of holes early on this afternoon.
Another good shot. I think Cabrera's the furthest away. See the gallery all round the back of the green. Limited to, I think, somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000. Why is that? Well, just the one match, and this is a tree-lined course, so not an awful lot of room. When they first started playing here, there were a lot of narrow walkways, particularly from, say, the 3rd to the 4th tee. Great banks of rhododendrons. They cut them all back to let spectators get a a freer walk around the course. But a lot of the fairways here are lined with trees, and you can't sort of get under the trees like you can, say, at Augusta, where we'll be in April. Now, hands up, how many of you remember Aoki here years ago, standing on the second tee? This is a little match play jewel. A little quirky swing, just pushed it away. And 1, 2, 3, in she went, and that won him a house at Glen Eagles, which was being developed at that time, worth £45,000 then, worth about 8 million today, and fully furnished with beautiful furniture, drapes, and all the rest of it. I don't know what happened to that house, but it was a nice thing to win for a hole-in-one.
Cabrera 20 feet up the hill, Ernie quite adjacent. Second hole, the second round of the final. Dale's 3 up. Beautiful golf this morning. 8 birdies. Cabrera with just 4.
Stand still back there, please. Thank you.
Very light on the birdie front for Cabrera, that, and one of those 4, Sam, was actually a conceded birdie at the 10th. But he's got an opportunity here just to get his blow in early. You know, the momentum in match play can ebb and flow and swing so quickly. So just left edge-ish putt here for Cabrera. Up the hill.
Oh, that looked very good for a long time, but it didn't drop. Chance for Ernie.
Please.
Not much in this putt, pretty straight.
Okay, Ernie, that was really disappointing to see Angel stay out of the hole there, but we've now got this little right to lefter down the green, 6 feet. I'm sure you can brush this one in. Let's go 4 up. Come on, big man.
Perfect camera angle. It was just hung out to the right. Good roll, but not quite. Turner remains 3 up as they go to the third tee. Here we are at the third. Great classic par 4. Redesigned the green about 15 years ago. It used to be a huge 2-tier green, but now just 3 tiers, but not as severe. There's driver up here. Try to avoid those 3 bunkers on the right. Impossible to carry all the bunkers now. So you have to place your tee shot up the left-hand side. Then left 3 or 4 iron into the 3-tier green. The pin today is right on the back right-hand side. 31 on, 6 from the right. Great hole. There you see it looking back from the green.
Well, the chance went begging there, but never mind. Ernie made a 3 here this morning to go 2 up after winning the first hole with a par. So good memories here. Really has found a new lease of life with this square-headed driver that he's using. Really does feel comfortable with it, although I would say Angel has just given him a few yards there off the tee. But again, like Sam said, bunkers to be avoided down the right-hand side. The third bunker is 304 to carry, slightly uphill.
Cluttered in the trees on the right. Blocked it straight right. Ernest. Doors open for Cabrera. That's gone right. You can see the crowd scampering into the trees, meaning the ball's gone well in there. So not a great one for Ernie. It's in there somewhere. And well in.
Well, they say every shot's a joy to someone, and Cabrera won't be unhappy to hear that clattering about in the trees. Left half for the Argentine.
Good shot from Cabrera. John from the UK, just John UK. Tells you an interesting story. The whole Wentworth estate was once owned by one Ramon Cabrera, and until the early 1900s, he died, and his wife, Lady Cabrera, kept the estate going, and she sold it to Mr. Tarrant, a property developer who built all the Tarrant-style houses on the estate. The east and the west courses were built, and two roads here, the Cabrera Avenue and Close, Cabrera Close, remain in Virginia water round about the estate. So perhaps that's a little omen for Mr. Cabrera. I wonder if there's any family connection.
There's a Westwood Avenue as well, Peter. Fantastic record in here. Elson Cabrera, they only met last year. And Cabrera won 2-1, and in 2004 Ernie won by 1 hole. This is Ernie's 8th final. He's won 6. He lost in the final 1997, 1 down to Vijay Singh.
Let's join Andrew Nicholson now. For you players at home who are waiting out, have a game out on the course tomorrow, how to turn your shoulders. He'll show us on Swingmaster.
He's just a nice little image for you. Angel Cabrera definitely doesn't struggle with his shoulder turn. What I want to do is just highlight the logo on the back of his shirt. See the way at the top of the backswing that logo is pointing towards the target. Really important to try and do that to complete your backswing. From here, Angel transfers his weight towards the target as he holds his back, then turns that big body through and the logo facing the other side. Give it a little bit of practice.
And get a good chiropractor. Ken, what have you got for us?
Well, Ernie's found the right-hand trees, and Paul, how's that little ball lying of his?
Well, it's lying nicely, Ken, but he's got two options here, either sideways through where we're standing now, or he can hit a real driven shot under the branches, but then he's got these bunkers some 50 yards to negotiate and get over, so it's an awkward spot for Ernie here.
Yeah, when he's had a gamble to make, he's always taken it.
Well, we shall wait and see.
Yeah, see what he does. And Cabrera just over the other side there, absolutely perfect position. Couldn't have placed it in a better spot. Ideal.
Well, there's Ernie's ball. You'd have to say advantage Cabrera. But you never know, they conjure up all sorts of magical shots. But it doesn't look too healthy. There's a lot of matchsticks in the way.
201 yards away from the flag, but that's a no-no, I don't think, here for Ernie. Just let that drive go. We haven't seen many errant drives from the big man this week.
And notice the cautious way he's removing the debris. If he makes the ball move or causes the ball to move, that's a penalty shot. That's why you've got to be very, very careful when taking little twigs and sticks and things away from the golf ball. There's the target.
Back, please, on the right.
And Cabrera in the driving seat. Very difficult going up through there, Sam, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's almost got to keep it sort of only a foot off the ground.
Yes, Paul.
It's almost one of those ones where you can take a chance. I mean, it's match play, you'll only lose the hole. But they have a hard cutting 3 wood. Get it through the gap. He needs it to be low, but carrying a fair distance. He's got a long iron out, probably 3 iron. What do you think, Polly?
Well, we saw Ernie in a similar position on the 12th this morning, where he was going for the low, hard shot, and he just clipped some branches and finished in the trees on the left and lost the hole. Must get this one back on the fairway to give himself a chance.
That made solid contact and fizzed away. So, oh, he came out. Well, in the clear, but that's 2. So Cabrera just needs one straight clean hit up onto the green, and that should get him a hole back.
Well, position A for Cabrera here, and this shot is quite dramatically uphill, 189 yards, and I think when many of us are playing these shots, we try to hit at them harder and swing harder. Just watch Cabrera's rhythm here. He's going in with a 5-iron, flag on the very top
Stand
tee.
still, please.
Well, Maureen, the crowd aren't helping your man. He likes to play really quickly.
Oh, well, it skipped on. It didn't kick left. Lucky and unlucky there.
Cabrera, 38 years of age. I mentioned this morning that I hadn't seen him smoking all day. Well, I spoke to him at lunchtime, and he gave up smoking 3 months ago. Good on you, Ankel. So he feels much better. It's difficult, but he's glad he did it.
144 yards to go to Ernie to this back right-hand pin. He's got an 8-iron out here. Those overhanging branches you'll be able to negotiate, no problem at all. He really does need to get himself onto the top step here and give himself at least a putt for a 4.
Get out.
That's up. Fine shot. Very good chance of a 4. We've had an email in from an old hacker from Rookery Park Golf Club in Suffolk. He says he's enjoying the programme very much. Thank you for that. And he wonders what happens to the scorecards. Now, Sam Torrance may be able to answer that for you. People collect autographs, but I've never heard of tournament card collection. I think they go back into the tournament office, or they may go to charity, or they may be destroyed. Sam, do you know what happens to scorecards when play is over?
Good point, Peter. I'm not sure. I don't think they're kept for record. It all goes down on computer. They're probably, I think, our man Slippery out there, Paul Eales, he's got the answer. What happens to them, Polly?
Well, normally they go back to the tour, but I had a really nice round of golf with Seve one year, shot 66 with him on a Sunday, and I begged to get the card, which I've got at home, with his signature on it.
Have you got any others tucked away?
It's the only time I ever shot 66, Peter.
That's not what I heard. Well, it's a thought, though, isn't it? Perhaps the tour could auction them off or do something afterwards and put that money to charity. Thank you for that, Rookery Park.
Nice clean lie here for Cabrera. Bit fortunate there to skip, hop and jump over the sand. A fairly straightforward chip shot here. A little bit downhill. Favours using the very lofted clubs just around the green and normally has a great touch.
A wee bit fiery. Again, we have an ideal match play situation. Both players about 6 and 8 feet. Ernie to putt first. Just lifts you up that little bit. You see a little glimmer of hope, and Ankel chipping it 4 or 5 feet past, and you start to think, well, if I can knock this in now, I can win this hole. 2 minutes ago, I was thinking I was going to lose it. An awful lot of this great game is between the ears. And this man's a great thinker on the golf course.
Absolutely right, Sam, and a great match play player too. Knows exactly what's going on. And he just knew that he could give himself a chance of a 4. That he's got a chance of escaping here with a half. He could even win this hole, pop this one in. And then over to Mo, what can your man do? But come on, Ernie, pop this one in for a 4. Straight up the hill.
Cruel. Wonderfully cruel. Oh, wicked. Little wry smile, maybe? No, this is a little... Got out of jail there, Governor.
Imagine that represents the Sunshine State, where Ernie's from. Now this is an important putt now for Cabrera. 4.5 feet, probably just inside left. But just for the half, he's 3 down. Wonderful scrambling forward by the magician, Ernie Els. This is crucial.
Inside left with a bit of pace for Cabrera.
Well, the hole in 4. Else is 4 up.
That just shows you the vagaries of match play, doesn't it? There in that little scene shows you how amazing it is and how exciting it is.
Well, the par 5 fourth is next to come for both players, and we've seen Ernie Els hitting some huge tee shots this week, and this is the type of driver he's using. A very unusual shape. It's almost a square shape, metal wood. Makes a very odd sound when the ball comes off. He uses, this has got 9 degrees, he uses 8.2 degrees, and he's been hitting a mighty distance. When you compare it, when I first turned pro, this was my driver. Just look at the difference in the size of the two things. It's a completely, totally different game. Little wooden head this used to have. Very little margin of error. So golf, well, it's a different game now. This hits it a country mile. This used to hit it into the countries. But two very different drivers. This is a lot easier to use than this one. And back on the tee there, I think the lads will be going with drivers here, probably at this par 5.
Kenny, is that an old Harry Busson you've got there?
I have got a few Harry Bussons, the old Persimmon. This was even prior to that. This was made a custom built in St Andrews Golf when I first joined the circuit. Look at it. It's like hitting it.
It hasn't aged as well as you can.
And Ernie's back on the tee. See if he can get the right shape on this one. 4 up.
Well done, big man. Just the 4 up now. Feeling a little more comfortable. I was a little bit worried walking up the 3rd there. No concern from Ernie, though. Nice high right to left tee shot here at the 4th. Landing on the downslope and skipping forward. And find the fairway. Certainly this 4th green will be within range with a mid-iron.
Not the easiest of drives. You just launch it into space. You pick a line down the fairway, one of those tallest of trees. May have missed the fairway. I think he may be further down than that anyway.
Well, you have to think that was an error there by Cabrera by not chipping it dead at the 3rd. That would have put a completely different complexion on that hole, leaving Els at for the half. So he's going to be feeling a bit sore at that, knows he made a mistake. Now I've got to take this down the left-hand side, over the trees much more than you imagine.
No, has he overdone it?
Four left.
Over there somewhere. shouting 4, so he's off the fairway on the other side. So we'll know where that drive finished. Doesn't look too good at the moment, both off the fairway. Someone's joined me in the box.
I have.
It's you, my
Yes. Well, there's plenty going on out on the course, but Peter, there's plenty going on in here, and I know he's noticed because we actually have a visitor in here. This is Aldo, an artist who's been commissioned by HSBC to paint not only the winners of the last years of their sponsorship in this HSBC World Matchplay, but they've also been commissioned to paint you, Peter. And I don't know if this is the first time that you've had a look at this. What do you think so far?
I think it looks wonderful. Makes me look years younger. And got rid of those jowls. Well, perhaps he hasn't got rid of all the jowls yet. I may have to resort to Botox, but looks very nice, Aldo. Aldo lives in France, you know. I've been talking to him earlier. He's a very renowned artiste. I'm very honoured. Gene Hackman, the actor, was the last man to do a portrait of me. How about that for a bit of name dropping? That's
pretty good, I have to say. Just be glad that Aldo is a proper portrait painter. He's not going into his Picasso Cubist phase, so you do look like who you are anyway. All right, let's get back out there to Kenny.
I've just moved forward to the 4th green, and the 4th hole, the key bunker today is this one that guards the front left of the putting surface. Quite a deep one, big pot that really does stare you full in the face with your second shot. The pin today cut towards the back left of the putting surface, so there's plenty of landing area, and this green really does gather from the right-hand side, so you can use the contour to the right of the flag to gather the ball whole side. So it's actually a very accessible pin position, but it's cut on a little contour going the other way, so although it's quite easy to get at, it actually is a very tricky part of the green to read, so one or two shorties may be missed here.
Well, you can see the flags, as on many of the greens today, poked away in the very corners of the greens. Just makes their playing a little bit more testy for these players. If you stuck everything in the middle of the greens, it would be perhaps too easy for players of this caliber.
Now for new tee right back, so it's a huge drive to get it over this downslope. Both players hitting driver, 300 yards to the bottom of the slope. You want to just carry it onto the downslope with a little bit of a draw, get it down onto the flat area. You're left with a 3 or a 4 iron into this green. Pin today is 20 on 4 left, so another quite an accessible pin. Again, this green slopes right to left.
Well, that's the target they're coming to. You can see the flag in the back right, and I'm going to step out for a moment, and Andrew Cotter is joining Sam Torrance.
Thank you, Peter. What a hole that was, the 3rd. What a swing. What a swing as well from these two players. Our swing master, Andrew Nicholson, is going to have a look at power and precision.
If you're just sitting down after your roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, he's a sweet treat. Let's look at the way how Johnny Wilkinson delivers power to the rugby ball. First of all, look at the way his lead leg plants in behind the rugby ball. From there, he pulls the lever of his left leg in behind the ball, stabilizes his body, and delivers the blow, power and precision. As we go over to Ankel, similar kind of thing. Left side kicks in, plants his lead leg, lever comes down, body stabilizes, off it goes, power and precision. Swing low, sweet chariot.
Oh, I'm in pain. Just on Chris Patterson on the right. Now, Ernie Els down the left-hand side, a little bit blocked out.
Well, he's got a reasonable lie on the downslope here. Nice and clear at the back of the ball, so he can get some club on this. 220 yards to the front of the green. So what he's looking for here is just to try and get this ball driving forward and hopefully bouncing up and running up the green. 3 iron.
Paul Cabrera's ball finish on the path.
It did.
No, not a great connection for Ernie. Oh, it's in the ditch. No, it popped out. That's actually a dry ditch. The ditch is further back, but that's not a great spot for Ernie.
Well, it seems like Ernie's on another Grand National winner out there, just leaping over a bit more trouble. And Cabrera just shaking his head there as his caddy just about dropped his clubs on his toes as he went past.
You're so bitter, Maureen. You've had more jam than Hartley's here. Found this blooming cart path down the left-hand side as well. A nice clean lie for you.
Good lie here. A little bit muddy, but nice and firm, so Cabrera will be able to get a great contact off that. I'm not rising to this, Mr. Eales. Class will out.
A woman of great dignity. And just coming out to have a look.
.213 yards to go. He can see the right-hand portion of the green there, and actually very fortunate, as Paul says, but the real key question is, can he take advantage of this good fortune?
Well, being on such a bare lie, the big advantage he has here is you can get club on ball. When you can get club on ball with no grass interfering, you can spin it any way you want. So this, I don't see this as a difficult shot for Angel at all here. Been very, very fortunate.
Hurled himself at it. Quite enough movement. Plenty of green there to play with, though, and a friendly lie in the sand. See all that green to land the ball on, and that's a downslope. Just flop it out onto the green. It'll wander down to the hole. And Ernie, you see the white marker there, just to the left of the red pyramid. That's where he is in 2. Well, this is the afternoon's round, of course, but this morning was a stellar show from Ernie Els. Birdies, 3 up at the halfway stage, Ernie Els, and now 4 in front. Quite a few Argentina against South Africa meetings ahead of the rugby version in the Stade de France this evening. Angel Soth, the challenger of Retief Hoosen in the first round, and Ernie Els beat Landres Romero on Friday.
Well, Ernie's ball just hurdling the bank there, like you said, Sam. It's a dry ditch, so no problems there. He's got a nice lie, 40 yards to go to the pin, and just a straightforward pitch over the bunker, landing onto the flattest part of the green, which is on this left-hand side here.
Correct, 61.
Just watch how soft Ernie's hands are on the club here. Languid swing.
Just stand, please.
Feel the pressure in the club at the dress and try and maintain the same pressure right throughout the swing. That's what Ernie does beautifully. Just watch this. It really is incredible, his short game this week. It does you proud in a stroke play event, but I can assure you there's nothing worse in match play than when your opponent's all over the shop. Not that Ernie's been all over the shop, but whenever he has been, he just chips it so beautifully, gets up and down, and it can be infuriating.
Now, Tiger Woods has played here a couple of times last year and in 1998, and in 1998 he produced a special moment.
He's judged it pretty well. Well, you can't judge it better than that.
Now Cabrera, not a difficult bunker shot here. It's very fast downhill. Doesn't really have to worry about hitting it hard enough. It should release all the way down to the hole. Just going a bit left. And now it's his turn to be outside Ernie with the try and knock in the putt first. The ideal match play situation. Ernie about 4 feet, 5 feet maybe. Cabrera 8 feet. Cabrera 4 down. It's early on, but these putts are crucial. Has to knock this in. Can't give Ernie a chance of going 5 up.
Well, it was a good bunker shot by Cabrera, but I think he thought it would move in a little bit more from the left-hand side. Now, he took 3 from the edge at the last, and for his own confidence as much as anything else, he really has to rattle this one in. He has to assume that Els will hold his. He's twice as close. Left edge putt.
Another great camera angle, and a beautiful putt from Cabrera. Straight in. Saw the line on the ball there. That's what the players do, the market with a straight line, and then try and line that up on where they're aiming. And you saw it just rolling end over end beautifully there. Perfect putt from Cabrera. Pressure back on Ernie.
Well, we weren't expecting that one, but this is a little right to lefter here for Ernie. I think for the momentum of the game, just how comfortable he'll feel if he just pops this one in, as opposed to just a little seed of doubt if he loses this hole. But I'm sure he won't. Right to left.
We heard Ken talking before this afternoon's round just about that little change, that little gem that Ernie Els had found in his putting, getting the weight a little bit more onto the left side, and he's holing out beautifully now. And let's hear from Ken again on the par 3 fifth.
Yes, the pin today cut on the back right-hand corner. On the first tee, all the players will pick up one of these pin position sheets. See, the first hole, the flag is on 11 from the front, 4 from the left-hand side, and here at number 5, it's 10 on, 4 yards from the right. So it's measured from just this very front edge of the green, 10 yards on, and then it's 4 yards from the right-hand side. So quite a tight pin position. You've got to fade the ball in. If you just go beyond it today, you go down a little downslope. And back on the tee, Ernie and Cabrera just preparing for their tee shots.
Once Ken has scuttled out of the way, ready to go.
Okay, 195 yards to go on the 5th to the flag, 185 to the front, as Ken said, 10 paces on. A mass crowd just coming round from the back of the 4th.
No breeze to talk of, Paul?
There's absolutely no breeze. It's nice and dry and humid out here. It's a beautiful afternoon for some great golf. Ernie's got a 5-iron here. Should take this straight at it. If he's going to err, he needs to be on the left-hand side.
Excuse me, can you get off the phone, please?
Excellent shot from Ernie. Perfect distance. Beautiful strike, which makes the ball stop very quickly. Just can't really see the bottom of the pin there.
Stand still, please.
And Cabrera doing as he did this morning and spurning the use of a tee peg, just knocking a little bit of turf up. 6-iron for the Argentine.
Excellent shot from Cabrera. Just fading it in.
What about Angel Cabrera, stalwart of the European Tour for many years and now a major winner? Let's find out a bit more about him.
Oh, yes, very candid.
There he is, US Open champion. Actually played together, Els and Cabrera, in the President's Cup just 3 weeks or so ago, losing to the United States team in Montreal. I wonder if there's been a glance at the watch at all from Ernie Els. 10 past 2 now, 7:30 he's been told is the latest time that he can leave in his private jet to make it to an airfield near to the Stade de France for tonight's game. South Africa against Argentina.
Funny enough, Andrew, I spoke to him about it. He said, well, every time I go, South Africa lose. So it was suggested that he should go next weekend.
Well, everyone's filling in their pitch marks and such like and getting themselves preparing to putt. And got a couple of lads here. What are you enjoying? Come and join us. I want a bit of commentary from you. Who are you supporting?
Probably Ernie.
Ernie?
Ernie, yeah.
Why's that?
Don't know really.
Is he one of your favourites?
Yes, kind of, because he's from here and I'm from here as well.
Not too loud, right. Let's just send this over to Ealesy. What sort of breaks this one on, Paul?
It's a quick one, Ken. Down the hill. Should break a little from left to right, but not a great deal. It's mainly downhill.
Paul, Eales says it's a little bit downhill and from left to right. You've been sitting here for quite a while. What do you think? Is that the right break?
Yeah, sort of. I think so. Yeah.
He's been putting well, hasn't he?
Yeah, pretty good. It's better than I've ever been.
Ernie's looking over here, but he's not looking at us. There's someone over the back here with a bit of a buggy going. Let's have a chip.
That's the only reason he went over to talk to them. Let's pretend I'm going to get them to do some commentary.
Well, Ernie, you've got to knock this one in, my friend, because Angel, what a sensational shot that was. That'll cheer Mo up. I haven't seen her smiling much this afternoon.
It's a great line to see it, and a great putt. He is on fire with the putter. A remarkable display.
What do you think?
It's quite a good putt.
Any good?
Yeah, really good,
I
actually.
need a bit of Alan Hansen from you. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Little down the hill this one, Maureen. Have you had a chance to look at it?
Well, relentless stuff there from Els, and really that is putting it up to Cabrera. This one is not outside the hole, I feel, Ken. You're exactly on the other side of the hole from Cabrera as he putts this. What do you think?
Some people in the burger bar, or perhaps in the latrines, making a bit of a noise. Just over the back there, people climbing trees to get a view.
I thought he was looking straight at you, Ken.
Yes, so did I for a minute, because he could definitely have me for lunch. Little down the hill. I'm with you, Maureen. I think it's just inside the right edge, but one of these ones, if you hit it firmly.
And very difficult for these players to maintain their focus and concentration with these massive galleries on the move.
Brilliant stuff from Cabrera. He's such a formidable opponent to play against, Ernie. Doesn't give you anything.
Key putt that was. Now, pressure putts. Let's have a look at them with our swing master.
Ernie's pressure putting has been the cornerstone of his performance this week. He's a great tip for you guys at home. Now, using the V1, what I've done is highlight the putter, and that circle, that red circle, is going to represent a 10p piece. What you're going to do is imagine your golf ball sitting on top of that 10p piece. And then as you make the stroke, keep your eye on the ball. So as the actual ball leaves the 10p piece, ask yourself, is it a head or is it a tail? Improve your pressure putting with that great tip.
Well, whatever tip Ernie is using, it's working. But Cabrera following him in at the last. That was L's 10th birdie of the day. This long walk back to this extended 6th hole now is extended a couple of years ago for the PGA. One of Ernie's many changes. All the way back onto the east course. And really makes it a far more formidable drive. Used to be just a flick with an iron, then a wedge up onto the green. But those bunkers, 250 on the left, 270 on the right, and then again on the left. But find the fairway, and it is still a birdie opportunity. Danger, though, in the green. It all slopes quite severely from right to left. And the pin today just on the front left corner, so quite attackable today.
Just a fairway wood for Ernie here. Trying to find the middle of the fairway. Two choices. Aim at the right-hand bunker with a little bit of draw. The fairway does slope from right to left, or just take it straight at the second bunker down the left-hand side. That's 314 yards to reach, so just a fairway wood for Ernie here.
Oh, not sure she had any idea what that was. Oh, we all know it's fine now. That way? That way.
Well, if our cameraman can start concentrating, we've got Cabrera on the tee. Now I've got a wee question for our swing master, Andrew Nicholson. Andrew, both players, and you see a perfect example of it here, both players put the club in an extremely open position at the top, but Ernie prefers to aim down the right and draw it, and Cabrera seems to want to aim down the left and fade it. Why is that, Andrew? Is it because from an open position you can do either shot?
Well, I think with Ernie's got such a lot of arm speed that the actual open club face actually allows him to, you know, still like release the club so he can, you know, still hit that shot. But I think with Ankel, because he's got such a longer swing, that open club face, he gets it a little bit later and just has to hold it just that little bit more. Yep, let's just have a little look at Ernie. I mean, as Sam said there, he gets the club face open. In other words, the toe of the club's pointing down. But then what Ernie does really well is really use his right arm through the ball. You can see how that acceleration, the right hand, really squares that up. So it's a great tip for you guys at home. If you find yourself getting a little bit trapped with that right arm, open club face will do the job. Okay, Ankel, yeah, he takes it kind of closed to start off with, then kind of tilts a little bit to get it open with that right elbow. Then from here, that massive leverage gets it in a good position now. Obviously, that one's just gone down the left, just trying to work it back with that little bit of fade. So two different ways of doing it, but two very talented players,
I should say. Just smiles and banter this morning. Not quite so much this afternoon. Getting towards the financial end of the afternoon. Ken Brown, where are you?
I'm down on the 6th fairway, and both players, I think, are just on the edge of the fairway. And with the pin on the front left, backspin is going to be useful, or it could be a hindrance here. With these modern wedges, they've got extremely sharp grooves. This is a copy of one that Ernie Els is using. They're rough, and there's also sort of a bit of buffing on. They call them Mac Daddy grooves, very sharp, and you can get a lot of backspin on the ball. And with this pin on the front left of the green here, they'll be trying to pitch the ball past the flag and just spinning it back to the hole. And different ways you hit it. The harder you hit it, the more spin you put it, or you can take it a little easier and take some of the spin out of it. It'd be interesting to see how these two players handle this, but controlling the spin with a second shot here at number 6 is going to be critical.
Yeah, I was up in St Andrews last week and had a sand wedge made for me, and they offered me aggressive grooves. So, well, I don't really want to have an argument with the club, but they just make them that little bit sharper. Tears the ball to shreds, but as soon as that ball lands, it's going to spin straight back.
Well, just a fairway wood from Ernie from the elevated tee, 274 yards. Something that we don't do at home. Fairway wood that far, dear me. 136 yards to go. Like Ken said, he really does need to knock this one past the flag on the right. He's chosen a 9-iron here. Absolutely no need to go left of the flag here. Only 3 paces from the left edge.
An exhibition. Birdie at the 4th, the 5th, and a 6-footer for another one at the 6th. The way he's putting, who would bet against him? Very similar in terms of driving distance, and I suppose fairways hit. Els just finding fraction fewer, and greens in regulation, well, they are very evenly matched. But crucially, Cabrera 31.7 putts per round, Els 29.8. And doesn't sound like a lot, but over a season, that really is a big difference.
That's 2 shots a day, and it's 8 shots in 4 rounds. So you're quite right, Andrew. It is a lot.
Well, there's a bunker short here that's doing sentry duty should Angel just underhit this a fraction. But he'll know that Ernie's in close. Got to follow him in.
Put down. Put down.
Stroke for stroke. I will match you. He really does need to produce shots like that because Els is pulling away. It really has been like that this afternoon. Anything you can do, I can do just as well. Not much at all between the players this afternoon. Just that one dropped shot from Angel Cabrera on the 3rd, but both with birdies at the 4th, both with birdies at the 5th, and both with great chances of birdie 3s at the 6th. But all the while, with every hole that passes, Ernie Els is getting a little bit closer to his 7th World Matchplay title. Glorious conditions now as well.
If this is global warming with this beautiful sunshine, I have to say I'm all for it. Absolutely ideal conditions. Now and again a little bit of a breeze just to keep the temperature down a fraction, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Wentworth in its glorious autumn best. Well, Mr. Eales, can you try and take the smug look off your face?
Beautiful this afternoon. Only 4 up at the moment, no mooring. Had a good look at Ernie's putt here. Just right of centre, if anything. Can't afford to give the hole away, and he really is striking the ball beautifully with the putter. It's like Ken was telling us, just made a little adjustment in his posture, helped him to swing the putter and get a better contact.
I have to explain, we put an on-course commentator in the camp of each player. I think they may be on a percentage. Ah, rare miss. A rare miss, and the door is open just an inch or two for Cabrera.
Who's smiling now, Maureen?
Well, Homer has nodded, and that is a very, very big open door for Cabrera now. And do you know, I think that's what's caused him to take another wander to the side of the hole here. He's coming back up the hill. There's really nothing in. This is one of those putts that you can start to read things into it. It really is just firmly up the hill into the back of the cup. One back, hopefully.
Just left edge. Should break a little. That beautiful camera angle. No. Oh! Just snuck in the right edge. One back for Cabrera. There it is, South African Airways, proudly sponsoring Angel Cabrera. You see it here, just goes a little bit right here. I think it's just going to lip out. An all-round good putt, just caught enough of the hole. And we're back to 3 up for Else. Here's 7, 3 wood off the tee, probably 290, well, 250 to the bottom of the downslope. You must carry at least 230. Down the left half is perfect. Big severe green here, huge slope in the middle of the green. Pin today, 22 on, 4 from the right, so it's just on the top right-hand side there. Ken Brown's down there, Kenneth.
It's beautiful out here now, Sam. Sun shining. The pin on number 7, as it nearly always is on the final day, on the back right-hand corner, not far from the right edge. But the tricky bit about it is this little ridge that runs in front of the pin. You've got about 4 yards, and anything just pitching short here, particularly with the soft old greens, is going to spin back. Watch that one go. That's got no spin on it at all, right off the front of the green. So you've got to be pinpoint accurate getting at this flag. But the most important thing, first of all, is to find the fairway from the tee.
Well, this is Cabrera's little rescue club, which he says he hits like a 1-iron. Again, no tee peg being used.
This looks to be fighting a shot slightly to the left there. Did well for him. Topples down onto the very edge of the fairway. Good line up to that back right pin position. And Peter Alliss has rejoined us in the box.
Great excitement, I must say. It's developing into a very good match. Cabrera's not letting go, but Else has been relentless, really.
Well, that was an unforced error, I suppose, from Ernie, but we'll let him off there. Still 3 up, all square in the afternoon round. There's a silver birch tree down the left-hand side. That's the aiming point here for the players. They do need to keep the tee shot down the left side of this fairway to give a better angle in to the pin. Just a fairway wood for Ernie.
Missed the fairway a couple of times down the right-hand side and was very lucky not to find a little ditch down there. But that's perfect.
Good old Ernie. Those 2 children beside the 5th. I don't know why they like Ernie so much. They just do. Well, he's tremendous record in the game of golf. What a player he's been. Let's find out a little bit more about him.
Hi there, I'm Ernie Else, and I've won the World Matchplay a record 6 times. I've really enjoyed this event. I've made Wentworth my home. You know, my kids go to school here, and you know, you really enjoy it over here. You know, and you're right. You know, it feels like a home game, and sleeping in my own bed. So a lot of good things going for me this week. I've played him a couple of times in this event. I think I've beaten him once, he's beaten me once, so you know, it's all to play for.
Promising player. And signs that he's getting back to his very best. Very close in the USPGA, third behind Tiger Woods, and a good run at the Open Championship as well.
That's the age to start him. Good old dad. It's a happy fella. Why wouldn't you be carried around all day long? Someone comes when you start to cry and looks after you. If you're lucky. Now, we've had an email in. Let me see who it's from now. From Darryl. Wants to know what the long, thin sticks are that are poking out of the players' golf bags. So I wondered what on earth he was talking about, but I do see Ernie Els's caddy has got, looks like a bamboo cane. Perhaps he's taking a few. Oh, no, that lad, the other one, the other caddy. We'll find him in a minute. There looks to be a bamboo cane sticking out of his bag. I have no idea what it is. There he is. What's that then? Does anybody know? Andrew, do you know?
Yeah, actually, Peter, what they do, it can be used for loads of different things. First of all, you can use it to help your alignment, you know, just put it down. It's obviously nice and light, so it carries in the bag. Secondly, you can plant it in the ground if you want to work a little bit on your swing plane. You know, thirdly, you can put it next to your right leg if you want to use it to, I don't know, work, you know, improve the pivot of your body. Lots of different ways, just need a bit of imagination, really.
But it can't be used, of course, in competition, can it? I mean,
no, absolutely not. It's a training tool, that's for sure.
Training tool? I thought he'd done enough training. I can think of some places I'd like to stick one of those, but people I'd like to stick it in, but that's for another occasion. A training tool. What will we have next? Good God alive. We've got psychiatrists, psychologists, dietitians, beauticians, and they still make mistakes. 3-putt. I don't know.
Follow that, Ernie. Sit down is the cry. Well, it did.
Well, not a bad result on the top level.
Well, don't get on the wrong side of Peter Alliss is my advice, I think. But Cabrera now taking longer before he's ready to play than normal, and again I would just put that down to the eager movement of the galleries to get into a position to see this fine match. And this hole is all about the green. It's got this massive step in the middle of it. Flag again on the back ledge, only 10 yards wide this ledge. And Cabrera coming in from a superb angle, 9-iron.
Right. But he struck it beautifully. A lot of work to do. Running out of holes. 3 down. And he doesn't look as if he's going to make too many silly mistakes. You never know.
Got a bit of momentum going though, Cabrera. 3 birdies in a row now. The big M, as the Americans call it. A bit of mo going.
Email in from Bob. I think it's Haberer from Betchworth Park. Well, I think Brian Huggett used to be the pro then, between far from Reigate. I think he says that he's a long-time UK resident, but he was born in the same town as Ted Kroll and Ed Fergal, whom I believe you competed against in Ryder Cup play. Yes, I did. I remember those two very well indeed. Ted Kroll had a very agricultural swing, but he was a leading money winner back in the 50s, early 60s. Ed Fergal, well, he had a withered right arm and had a unique swing, but he won the US Open at Balsastroll years ago. They were two great characters.
Here it now.
Well negotiated the slope and the crowds. Had a good look at Ernie's there. I can't see any swing on this putt at all. Ken's been lurking around the back of the green. I don't know whether you noticed anything in that, Ken?
Well, this back portion of the 7th is always renowned for being one of the toughest ones to read. You'd always imagine it sloping from the back to the front with a tear in it, but it's not always the case. It's such a tricky green to read.
Well, if anybody does know just how quick it is, Ernie's your man. Oh, it's rolling beautifully, beautifully. Oh! Denied with a sharp right-hand turn of the hole. Give it every chance. And now there is another chance for Cabrera.
Well, Cabrera had a good look at that putt of Ernie's, and I think he will have learnt a bit about the pace. The pace just beating L's on that one, and it is a fast putt. And Cabrera likes to hold his putts at a fairly decent pace, but he's got to be careful. Although he has this for the hole, this is a very easy one to run 3 or 4 feet past. Might be just left half here.
Great chance here to keep the momentum going. As mentioned, after that drop shot at the 3rd, Cabrera birdieing 4, 5 and 6. Will it move? Will it move? It's trying, it's trying.
Hole halved in 4, else remains 3 up.
How close, how close?
Just be worth having another look at these putts on this green. Ernie's having another dip at it. It just looks like it's left to right, but the ball just keeps going straight on. It's sort of famous of this green. The ball always breaks slightly less than you think. Both those players missing it on what they thought was the high side, but the ball just doesn't turn. So you hit it down that left-hand side, and you think it must go that way. It tries to go from left to right, but it just goes straight on. So no matter how much experience you've had here, some of these greens, particularly here at number 7, can so easily catch you out.
And you'll notice he's still a beautiful putter, Ken Brown. It's a gift. It is a gift. Email in from Bob Malcolm. Now, there used to be a Bob Malcolm who was the secretary at the delightful Rosemount, the Blair Gowrie golf course, which I was associated with some years ago. He asked how many pro golfers today on tour use bladed irons rather than cavity back ones. Well, I checked with the experts, and they tell me it's about 60-40 in favour of the cavity back irons. I rather like the bladed ones rather than the cavity back, but that's consensus is it's about 60-40.
Well, Angel Cabrera taking the conservative option off the 8th tee, going for the first portion of fairway, or is he? He's now replacing the faithful 4-iron that has served him well here all week and going for what looks like his 3-wood. That means he's probably going for the second section of the fairway beyond the bunkers. And it's a classic risk and reward hole. The more you take on off the tee, the easier maybe that your second shot is going to be.
Never good when you have to press, Maureen.
I'll let the shot speak for itself.
That shot is going to say bounding down. Well, they didn't want to take the driver. We saw Ernie Els going into the water, which is a massive hit, but Cabrera with a bounding drive could have got very close to the water, about 315 yards. That one just hasn't quite reached the second little portion of fairway.
No cameras, please.
Male version of Fanny Sunnison there. No cameras.
Well, Ernie hit the 3-wood this morning that made the fairway 276 yards away of the second portion of fairway. There's a little bit of air into his face, so I don't think he could have reached the water today with the driver. That's 3-2-1 away.
Oh, that's not the place to be. He may have got away with it. Sam, I heard you were out on the 18th green with the Wee Wonders having a putt or two. What was all that about?
Well, it was brilliant, Peter. And these 4 here are the group winners, age 6, 7, 8 and 9. And we had a competition so you can get closest to the hole. That was my unfortunate effort there.
Look at this, look at this.
But the 4 with 4 bunker shots, all 4 of them hit great bunker shots onto the green. Now this is young Ellen. Have a look at this. Not a nerve in her body.
How old are they?
This one's 9. There were 6, 7, 8 and 9. The 4 different group winners. But it's a great program from HSBC called the Wee Wonders. And this is a wee wonder.
Look at this one, you little monkey. Ho, ho, ho. There was nothing there, no need to go on about it. Just an ordinary putt, that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, I better give this a bit of serious thought now. Go on, my girl. What a putt.
A little bit hard. Just fantastic.
Especially considering that that last one there is actually shorter than your broom handle.
The future of the game there. Let's hope they go forward and enjoy it. Don't all have to be champions. It's a great game to play. You can play it into old age. And you can play it, you can potter about on your own. It's very hard to play tennis on your own, or cricket, or rugby, or whatever. Darts and snooker you can practice a bit, but golf stays with you for a long, long time, many, many years.
John, just caught up with John Paramore, striding out behind this match, the rules official for it. Now, what exactly is your job today, other than enjoying some wonderful golf?
Well, make sure they don't get into a fight, Ken. And clearly that's not going to happen. But really, if they have any doubts themselves, if there's something they want clarification on, then, you know, obviously I can give them that. Really, the most taxing thing I've had today is whose shot is it, you know, and that's only happened twice, so it's been a very easy afternoon for me.
Is that because the course is in such perfect condition, no ground under repair? There seems to be nothing wrong with it.
The course is pretty good, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we're playing a month later than last year, and but it really is a picture. It's fabulous, fabulous.
And he hasn't got a stake tree over there, has he?
No, unfortunately, he doesn't, no.
I always used to look for a stake tree if I found an awkward spot.
Yes, you did.
Can he squeeze it past these trees, you think, Andrew?
Wow, let's get it up quite quickly. That's the other option. Paul Eales?
Yes, he can. No problems here, Peter. The first tree, the branches aren't going to make any difference. The second, the bigger tree that's on his line just to the right, the ball should be climbing as it gets past that. 140 yards to this back right-hand pin, an 8-iron for Ernie. So pick this one and hit it nice and high. The problem he's going to get is to try and get it on that back shelf and stop it from spinning off.
You see him there working with the hands, trying to keep that club face held open, but not quite enough. Knew he was losing it, and that pin is up on a little back shelf there. Good for distance, but a lot to do from there. A chance for Cabrera to attack this flag.
He surely must sniff a bit of an opportunity here to see El so far from the flag. He's got a pitching wedge in his hand, but as Paul Eales was saying, the flag on this back right ledge and keeping the ball there is no easy task, although it is a short shot. Needs a high, soft landing shot.
And as he tugged that one as well to the left. Spin away. Will not please him. Another chance missed. I wonder if that is the same piece of gum. They must have changed it for lunch. Clatter over this pond, which was extended down the left-hand side there, just above Eddie Gardino's head. Just creeps round the left side of the green now. No real danger when the pin is back right, as it is today. First Argentine winner of the US Open at Oakmont earlier this year, and what style he won it in. Never really thought the US Open was going to be his major either, that type of course, but he was relentless. And he's off to play in the Grand Slam of golf next week in Bermuda against Tiger Woods, Zach Johnson and Padraig Harrington.
Ladybirds out. Haven't seen many of those this year. It's a sign of a bad winter, so. Or is it a mild wind? Oh, off he goes. Oh. I can't stop here talking to you all day. This is the sort of centre of the course, very close to the east course comes up in here. There's a very nice little halfway house tucked away in the trees. Great competition between them and the halfway house at Sunningdale as to who has the best facility. Much debate. Both of them are quite splendid. Now Ernie with this putt. Paul, what's he going to do?
Well, there's two parts of this putt, Peter. He's going to swing from left to right as it goes up the slope onto the top tier, and then he's just having a look at what it's going to do when it gets up there by the hole, and that will be to break a little from right to left.
Good effort. There's a little halfway hut, little chalet tucked away. The golfers stop and they have a little sustenance. Now Cabrera's got to come up the slope as well, Maureen.
He'll be thinking that he's made no inroads on this lead of Els since lunch, and maybe this is not the time to be very aggressive. This is a similar putt to Ernie's, but it comes more from left to right at the start.
No. Well, I don't know whether it's going to be half-half. I think there may be a bit more putting to be done here. Or is there? No, come on, we never miss them.
Health remains 3 up.
Very generous. Well, this is the type of putter Angel Cabrera is using, which is an old, it's called an answer putter, originally made by Carsten Solheim. This is a modern version, which is sort of milled out of a solid piece of metal. You can sort of see the milled line, beautifully finished. Quite a heavy head, made of steel. And this one's actually 34 inches long. Angel Cabrera uses one that's 35 inches long, a little bit longer than that, but a beautifully made putter, sits absolutely concisely, just the right lie for Angel. And he's been putting pretty well, but I think if he's going to take on Ernie on these back 9 holes, he needs to make 1 or 2 more of those 15, 20 footers, otherwise Ernie may just cruise through. He needs the old magic wand to work.
How different from the old putters of yesterday with the hickory shafts and the blade. Don't see many blade putters now, although Wilson makes blade putters. I have done for many years, the old Arnold Palmer from 40 years ago. There's a newer model of that one out at the moment that looks very nice indeed. But putting is such a personal thing. Most people who play, unless they're very lucky, end up with a couple of dozen under the stairs. But some players use 1 or 2 all their lives. Mark McNulty, for example, he has one that he's had for yonks. Bobby Locke, a few others. Maureen?
I'm making my way up here, up the heather-strewn right-hand side. Can't quite get in position yet to see the players, so I'll leave that to you, Peter.
Thank you, Maureen. Well, Cabrera's just strolling about on the tee and chuntering a bit, and now he's going to step up. He doesn't hang about. Just one look up the fairway. Just one sight, almost like a quick dart player. One look at the double top and away. Here he goes. That looks to be okay. Trouble down the right. That's perfect.
Well, as of this morning, Ernie's out with the fairway wood. Hit it 264 yards down there this morning. Managed to knock the putt in for a 3 and a win. But this is this afternoon. Got to find the fairway. All those bunkers that Ernie's fitted in down the right-hand side and one down the left to be avoided. Visually, it's a beautiful tee shot here, but you need to be very precise.
Well, no sense in risking trouble left and right, else 3 up. He's got to find the fairways, find the greens and make Cabrera win the holes with birdies or better. Well, welcome to our little studio here, and a special occasion. In some ways a rather sad occasion, because this gentleman on my left has been my gallant scorer. Alan Barker is his name, and his son works for the PGA Tour, and he's been with me 15 or 16 seasons. We've never had a serious crossword, and he's provided a wonderful scoring sheets for me, and he's just been a good companion. And we've the lads have well, some with money have clubbed together, Alan, and present you with that, with a few signatures, and I hope you'll take it away. Don't drink it all at once.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to work with you.
Well, that's very nice. Well, I hope you where do you play your golf?
I play at Sandyway and also at Hill Valley.
Oh, 2 lovely courses. Well, enjoy your sort of retirement. I'm sure we'll see you as the months go by, as the years go by.
Hope to pop in from time to time.
Well, I can get you a ticket retail if ever you want to come.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thanks for all your help, old friend.
Lovely days.
Good man. Still a few left. Well, now there's Norrie Parrymore's son. We've told you that 100 times, weren't we? On the right-hand side, the famous musician, conductor, composer, and they're striding up together. The extraordinary thing about golf, it's such a leisurely pedestrian game. You have time for conversation. You don't have much conversation here at tennis or snooker, or I suppose you might do it snooker, but rugby and football there is conversation, but it's rather vulgar on occasion. Now, we all talk about routine and getting in a groove and having swings that repeat. Let's check that out with Swingmaster.
Ernie is one of the best pressure players in the world. No coincidence he has a repeatable routine. Let's take a look at it. First of all, he lines his club face to the target, then aligns his feet to that club face. From there, he's just getting himself nice and ready, kind of keeping his knees nice and flexed, keeping his movement, doesn't want to get too static. You know, Ernie's just so good for that rhythm. Double checks his target, little waggle, and then off he goes. But not one to bask in the glory of last night. Let's look at someone else who has a reasonably good routine, the legendary Johnny Wilkinson. Visualizing his target, in he steps, right through the middle there. Crowd goes up. Huh, what it's like to be a legend.
Yeah, I can't help but notice that was against Scotland as well. And took them in the Six Nations this year.
Well, I didn't want to mention that.
No.
But we're down on the 9th, and it's Ernie Els certainly to play first, Paulie. Not one of his longest.
No, 3 wood off the tee, 189 yards to go for Ernie.
Decent lie?
Absolutely, in these middle of these fairways, no problem with the lies whatsoever.
With the pin on the front left, what sort of shape of shot do you think he's going to try and play here?
Well, Ernie favours that towering high right to left shape, and that would be absolutely perfect, but no wind here. He doesn't need to do anything fancy at all.
Pin just on the front left. Now he looks to be holding on to that one as well.
Pulled it a bit. Bold shot, good shot. Quite a long way back. Sorts of photographers here, professional photographers, golfing photos. Saw one this morning, there's a few of them about.
A boomer mooring for Angel, another boomer.
Yeah, boomer driver, very aggressive play here, Ken. 145 to go. Just got a 9-iron, but you know he's got to start making some of these birdies around the turn here, or he's going to run out of holes.
The train zooms by, Angel takes a little break. Perfect turf here if you want to spin the ball at this front left pin. Couldn't be in a better spot.
Driving a 9-iron. Fantastic shot. You must have heard you, Maureen. Very, very domineering woman. No, not domineering.
Maureen, that was a bit special.
That's more like it, isn't it?
What do you think, Paulie?
It's a great shot, isn't it? But what's the score, Maureen?
3 at the moment. At the moment.
One way to go yet, Paul.
Well, there is, but Ernie's in great form, isn't he? I know Angel is, and it's an absolute pleasure to be out here watching these guys in these weather conditions.
Yeah, it's absolutely superb. Sun shining, great golf, and we're seeing two of the best in the world in full flight.
Well, Ernie's held a lot of good putts, Andrew, hasn't he, over the last few hours? But I mean, you've got to do something a bit special here, otherwise it'll be 2 up at the turn.
Well, that's a gimme.
Watch this, right at the target, zaps into the green, just backs up a few inches. Magnificent shot.
Cabrera determined to make sure that it's a bit of a rush job for Ernie to get to Paris tonight. Well, it's going to be likely to be 2 in it with 9 to play, which really is finely balanced. Conceded. Els is going to have this for the half.
Just had an email in from Rod Bewley, who says he's a member of Sea Houses in Bamburgh up in Northumberland, and your talk of dietitians and beauticians reminded me of our 4-ball. Unfortunately, we're now down to opticians and morticians instead of dietitians and beauticians. Oh, keep going, Ron.
Tough putt approaching for Ernie. What about this morning? Just off the green. And he was holding absolutely everything. That was one of 8 birdies in this morning's round from Ernie.
Now, Ernie, my boy.
Down the hill, right to left, Peter. Had a look at angles. It was one of those shots that was getting closer and closer as you're walking onto the green, which is not good news if you're in the Els camp. And Angel's pitch mark was right on Ernie's line. So Angel started to dig away, and then Ernie says, I got it, which of course you are allowed to do. One of the few times you're allowed to actually touch the line of your putt.
Are you suggesting Angel wouldn't have done a great job?
I'm sure he would, Mo, but he only had a T-peg and Ernie had one of those fancy tools to do it with.
Well, that wandered off immediately, didn't it? Right off the putt ahead. That was an extraordinary putt. Cabrera wins the hole. 2 up.
Cabrera wins the hole in 3. Els is 2 up.
2 up, 9 to play. Paul from Bishop Auckland says, is it true that one of the bunkers at Wentworth was caused by a bomb dropped by a German bomber during the war? I think it is true, Paul. I'm not sure which course it was. It might have been on the East course. But I'm sure there are a lot of golf courses in sort of Plymouth, Birmingham, London area that ended up with a few holes on the course caused by enemy action during the war.
I was reading Sandy Lyle's autobiography recently, and he said that Hoxton Park took a few hits and they just filled them in with sand and a few more bunkers overnight.
Anders Hansen had a hole-in-one here this week. Have another look at this one. Only 3 or 4 holes-in-one in the history of this event. Couple here, 1 at the second, that was the first hole, and 1 at the 14th, or 2 at the 14th. And that was a beautiful shot. Beautifully judged. We had lots of people ringing saying, would he buy drinks for everyone in the clubhouse? I don't think so. We still haven't found out when that tradition began. Hole-in-one bought drinks for anyone in the clubhouse. And this is how they got to the final. And you have to say Cabrera there for beating Goosen, and then Paul Casey, the defending champion, Hunter Mahan. He was a surprise package of this year's championship. Played some beautiful golf. It was only the majestic play of Cabrera that got him through. Colin Montgomery, well, he wasn't at his best, and young Romero was totally overpowered. Henrik Stenson put up a great fight, but Els was relentless. And here they are, Cabrera and Els in the final, with Ernie 2 up as they step onto the inward 9.
Well, Els or Cabrera upping his birdie count in this match with 4 birdies in that opening 9 for this afternoon session, and that's a bit more like it from the Argentine. Back to 2 down. That's the closest that he's been since we left the 17th green this morning. And this is going to be a very big 7-iron for Cabrera. 185 yards.
Well, he certainly got the distance, Maureen. Just got to skirtle on the edge of those fir trees on the right to get to the pin. Green sort of, there's a little bit of a dog leg left to right as you come into it. Sweeps around, sort of banana shape, slight banana shape. The flag is in a sort of tucked away in the corner. Only 7 paces from the right-hand side of the green, and well up the green. Well, you can see Cabrera's not threatening the hole. The great thing, he doesn't want to lose this to a 4. So first plan is to find the green.
Well, that's right, Peter. Ernie made a 2 here, and both players made 2s this morning. Ernie's got a 6-iron out here. Can't afford to miss this to the right.
Better shot. Well, they're now entering the second 9, and should they be all square after 18, they will be a sudden death. There'll be 18, 18, 1, 2, 17, 18 until we have a winner. But this is still very much, this contest is still very much alive. Well, we were talking earlier about scorecards. There's a classic man, one of the great stalwarts of the BBC. We haven't quite found out what he does, but he does a lot of it. He's everywhere. Football last night, golf today. Makes a wonderful corned beef sandwich. And he can hear everything we're saying, and he's trying to be very discreet and sensible. We were talking about scorecards and what happened to them. We've had a note in from Wendy. You just said Wendy Scott, who says she used to work at the British Golf Museum in St Andrews, and several scorecards would make their way back there and were put on display. Also, Edward Maskell said that he has several at his home. One in particular, Nick Fowler and Ronan Rafferty, in the Matchplay event that took place here in 1996. Framed up, I think some of them are sold for charity work or donated to the Golf Foundation. Very nice idea if that's the case. Long may it continue. What's that young fellow up to? Oh, there's Mum. Oh, where have you been? I've had him for 10 minutes. He's driving me potty. Oh, my good God. Yeah, go and climb a tree.
Peter, I just met a chap outside who wanted to come and see you, but obviously you're on air and he couldn't, and he had a ticket for an exhibition match in 1966 at Royal Aberdeen. Yourself and Tony Lima against Eric Brown and Harry Bannerman.
Right, I was with Harry. He came along to Lindrick the other day for the 50th anniversary of our victory in the Ryder Cup. He looks very well. I remember it very well. I think we won. The scorecards are hanging up in the clubhouse there at Royal Aberdeen. Tony, we played a series of matches. Lima had just won the Open Championship, and then he died tragically, he and his wife, in a private air crash only a few months later.
Champagne Tony. I was there in 1964 when he won the Open at St Andrews, halfway up a lamppost, aged 11.
He beat me. One time I played here, he beat me it was the first round.
Very easy indeed to push this one past the hole here. It's very fast from the left-hand side of the green. Might come slightly from Angel's right.
Good speed, a good lag. But Ernie, a chance to redeem the loss at 9.
Well, yes, Ernie played that front 9 in 2 under to go 1 down on the 9. Still 2 up in this match, though, but he was watching that ball of Cabrera's coming down there very, very carefully. And like Maureen said, it will break from right to left, but a very quick putt indeed.
This green's another one of those subtle ones. You'd think it's going to come from the right. Cabrera's didn't move much. I've got a funny feeling this won't move much either. But if anyone on the planet knows how much it moves, it'll be the man with the putter in his hand right now, Ernie Els. There's a great view.
Oh, at pace, you see. At perfect speed. If that had been a whisker harder, that would not have gone in. That's a big putt from Ernie Els.
Else it's 3 up.
Big, big putt. It looked as if it was going to miss. You watch this. It's in here, isn't it? In it. Now, is it? No, now it's gone. And it just, woo, a little harder, wouldn't have gone. But it did, and he's 3 up.
Well, I'm down the left-hand side of the 11th fairway, and these are 2 new bunkers, nicely surrounded by heather that Ernie Els has put in over the last couple of years. And funnily enough, this first one here, he's driven into it twice so far this week. It's been a bit of an Achilles heel, this tee shot. He's just overdrawn it. So perhaps there's a glimmer of hope here from this on this 11th hole for Angel Cabrera. So he'll be thinking, hoping he finds one of Ernie's own bunkers.
Cut along and get under cover now, Ken.
Again, visually another beautiful tee here. Tee set high up above the fairway. Again, Ernie, just aim at the right-hand bunker. A little bit of draw round the right to left dogleg and avoid those horrible bunkers that you've placed down the left that Ken's told us all about. Come on, big man.
He's done it again. No, he hasn't. It's come down. I thought he caught the bunker for a moment, but he's nicely on the fairway.
It pitched right on the very edge of the trap. Unfortunately, had a nice firm bounce and in perfect spot now, but it was perilously close to the second trap.
A bit of a blow that for Cabrera, that last hole. Driver aiming up the right half of this fairway.
I think he gave that a little bit extra more in. That was a big looking swing there. And well, has he caught the heather? Oh, going to a big drive round the corner, may have found the bank and the heather.
There you see it. 2 new bunkers from Ernie on the left. Both players hitting driver today. And you can just about carry the traps with driver. It's 300 yards to get past the right-hand one. Ernie, when he hit it in the trap, hit 3-wood today, hit the driver, got the perfect one right onto the fairway. But Cabrera, he's in a spot of trouble. We think he's in the heather. Pin today is only 8 on, 4 from the left. So again, you need to be on the fairway for the precision required for the second. Gorgeous setting. Beautiful pictures.
Ian Browning calls us, Sam, and he said, I played at Wentworth in the early 80s when the green fee was £25 a round and half price for Vickers. Can you still pay a green fee? Yes, you can. It is a bit more now, depends which course you play on, but I'm not sure about half price for Vickers, Ian. Probably so if you speak to Julian Small kindly. He's very Catholic in his tastes, so I've heard, and he might squeeze you in.
Well, that's where Ernie Els' ball's finished. It's a slightly soggy fairway rather, and the ball a little bit above his feet. But Cabrera's ball pitched up here in the left-hand side. He had quite a nice bounce, but he's just found this rather hairy line. There's a little bit of mud on the ball and a bit of moisture on it. Certainly not casual water, but not the greatest of lies, particularly where the flag is cut, which is cut just over the bunker. But just a short iron left. Maureen and Paul will tell you the yardage, but not the greatest spot to finish in.
Was a lot better than Sam and I thought. We thought he'd hoiked it up further left in the heather, but he's so close and he's so powerful, he'll be able to hoik that up onto the green with a lofted club. I'm sure there's no trouble there.
You can see where they are. Definite advantage there, only just 106 yards to go, but more importantly on the fairway. He'll be trying to pitch it maybe 10, 12 feet past the pin, slightly to the right and screw it back down. Whereas Cabrera is going to have to judge it perfectly. No margin for error. Coming out the rough. Can't put as much spin on it. You see the contours of the green there. All kind of feeds down to this pin placement, so you can expect a couple of good ones here, especially from Ernie.
Let's have another look at a match play duel. You remember this one? Paul McGinley it is. That's the way you do it.
Doesn't get any better than that one. Well done, Paul McGinley.
Another magic moment from this great championship, which is it's been going since 1964.
Okay, just hold up, please.
You see Ernie will go to the top of the European Tour Order of Merit. Something he's won a few times in the past. He would love to win it again. It's quite incredible that he can actually win it here when he plays a lot of his golf in America. And you see it. Full sand wedge, pitching 10, 12 feet past the pin. Zipping back down to the hole. Hit it hard, so there'll be a lot of spin on it. Not too bad, just didn't get it far enough right to the hole. It's always going to spin left as well as back. Now, a good shot from Ernie.
Well, at this stage of the match, Cabrera has to draw on his own good experiences of playing around this west course at Wentworth. His last European Tour victory was here in 2005 at the PGA Championship. But as Ken was saying, a little bit of mud sitting on this ball, exact precision required.
Yeah, well done.
Well, he managed to get a lot of spin on that, Cabrera. I don't know how he did it, but it'll be his putt first. We've seen a lot of good putts today. Let's hear from the swing master, Andrew Nicholson. How do you really strike a good putt?
Day 4 of the World Match Play doesn't get any hotter than this. Here's a quick tip for you guys out there who struggle just getting that great strike that Ernie's going to get here. Now, what I want you to do is just take note how low the putter is to the ground going back. And from there, he really strikes the